up everyone, welcome back to another Gunpla review, and today I'm going to be looking at the high-grade build fighters Super Fumina. So here we go. Bandai is really treading new ground with this one right here. By far the most unique high grade I have ever seen. Is it in a good direction though? That is debatable. It's definitely unique, it's definitely a lot of fun, but is it a good model kit? Straight built, using the stickers, it really isn't a whole lot to look at. The detailing is below average even for a high grade, and in general, in most poses, it just looks awkward. But let's get in and take a closer look. That face though, this thing right here is the sort of thing nightmares are made of. I mean, just look at that. At the same time, it stares deep into your soul, as well as past both sides of your head. Just look at those eyes, they don't seem to be looking in any direction whatsoever. As far as I know, I lined up the stickers perfectly, but no matter what way I pose it, it never looks like it's looking anywhere. You could debate that this is accurate because it's meant to be a robot or a plastic model kit in the series, but if you check out the art here on the manual, her face is both expressive and natural, and by no means as creepy as this. Again, it is a model kit, and with a very good paint job you may be able to save it, but you're gonna have to be very skilled. Like I mentioned, as for the rest of it, the detailing is fairly minimal. We have some minor panel detailing all around the surface of the kit, and as well as that, the hair sculpt looks very nice. And this section here on her head, as well as her torso, which is made out of a soft material, probably looks the best out of all of it. The ribbon here, which is made out of the same clear green plastic as the effect parts, I think is a pretty nice touch and adds a nice splash of color to the kit, but kinda doesn't really make much sense. On the whole though, straight built, it is quite lacking, but in the hands of a skilled modeler, I would like to see what they'd be able to do with it. But when straight built like this out of the box, the absolute worst aspect of this kit has to be the stickers. The ones on the actual eyes themselves are quite good, and are made even better by the inclusion of a small clear piece that goes over the eye, which makes them shiny. But if you haven't noticed them by now, just check out those stickers around the eyes. Pull off the front of the head and you'll see they run all the way around to the sides of the head. And compared to the color of the faceplate, they're slightly off, so they look really weird. And we also have this really funny sticker here on the side of her head to replicate her ear. I'll also mention right here, watch out for those clear parts in the eyes as they fall out really easily, and they can be hard to find. Also, we've got a lot of huge stickers from the bicycle shorts, and they're quite a headache to apply, and they don't look the greatest. I'll mention it again, but you really are better off painting this than just having it straight built like this. It will look much better. So next, onto a couple of comparisons, and first up is the high-grade Greys and the high-grade Barbatos from the new high-grade Iron-Blooded Orphans line, and there it is next to the master-grade Oryx 78-2, and as you can see, this kit is huge for a high-grade, as it's pretty much the same size as master grade. And finally, there it is beside one of Kotobukiya's frame arms girls, which is probably one of the more similar kits on the market. So here she is with everything that she comes with. And besides those big rifles and those shields on her backpack, we've got two big green clear effect parts, the beam machine gun, two widespread open hands, one hand with the finger extended for holding the beam machine gun, and two hands for holding stuff, which brings me to another point. She has two beam saber handles on her shoulders. These do come out, but strangely enough, the kit doesn't come with any beam saber effect parts, nor do the instructions really draw any attention to them, which is kind of odd. Also, the same goes with the Gatling guns on her forearms. The kit does include some runners from the Powered Gym cardigan, including the Gatling guns here, but they just didn't adapt it into this section here. It doesn't even open up, which is a bit of a disappointment. That would have been pretty cool. So no beam sabers and no Gatling guns. It's hard to say that's not disappointing. The kit also includes this alternate set of eyes, and these ones aren't for using with the stickers, and as you can see, the irises are detailed on there. So if you do plan on painting this kit, this will look really good. And the last thing included in here then is an action base, which is pretty cool. And I might as well answer this now because I'm going to get asked it in the comments, I know. And this base I'm using right here for the review is a Figma base off a Figma figure. And the reason I don't use this one is because to move it around, you need to pull this part out, and that's really awkward, and it's quite delicate, so it could break pretty easily. So maybe 1, 2, 3 at the most, unless you flip it around. And that's really not a whole lot of use for a review. The Figma one is very simple, but at the same time, it's just genius. It's got the same peg as most figures use, and it just bends around like this, and it's pretty strong. So there is nothing wrong with this base right here. This is perfect for display. This is just, I need to move it around a lot, so I use something a little more useful for that situation. So moving very quickly onto articulation now, and first I'm going to take a look at the backpack. So on here we've got a lot of articulation. You can see we've got up and down, rotation there, as well as here. 2 points of articulation there for up and down, and rotation here. So with these shields, there's a lot of movement. And for the rifles back here, it feels like there's even more. So again, it can rotate here at that point, move in and out there, rotate here, and we've got a bend here, and another rotation. So pretty much any direction you want them to point, you'll get them pointing that way. As for Fumina herself, first I'll mention that this part up here, as well as this part, are made from a soft, flexible rubber. If you've ever built the Master Grade Wing Zero custom, you know exactly what this is like. It's just like those feathers. So the articulation at the neck, there it is all the way to the back, all the way to the front. Not a whole lot here, and it is a little bit loose. That can rotate all the way around. This is just a ball joint, so you can pretty much guess the way that'll go. On the back here, the ponytail is connected by a simple peg like that, so that can rotate pretty much all the way around. It can be a bit loose and fall out, but it's pretty good. So next the shoulder, and we have this up and down joint here, as well as this ball joint in here. So one more time, that can move up and down like that, as well as pivot in here and rotate. It can rotate here at the upper arm. The elbow here is double jointed, so that's the bend all the way up. It can move back this way a bit unnaturally as well. And there's the wrist where you have rotation as well as a spin. As for the waist, it wouldn't be a Gundam kit if it had absolutely nothing going on there. I mean, in all honesty, this is just a simple ball like that. I guess this cuff section around here and up here kind of just limits it, and you really don't get anything but rotation. There is a little bit of side to side, but if you wiggle it too much, it'll just pop right off. They definitely could have done better there. And there's even another second ball joint in here. So in the torso part, it is just a double ball joint, but somehow they managed to have little more than just rotation at both points. This could have been a whole lot better, especially because this section here is made from a soft, flexible material, but the only purpose this seems to serve is for these to move ever so slightly. This one at the back moves quite a bit, but not that much. There is very little design reason with this character why this couldn't have been better. I understand it with most Gundams as they're boxy, but this seems like a bit of a design failure. So next onto the legs, and there that is all the way up to the front. That's as far as it gets before popping out. All the way to the back, and that is pretty good. All the way out to the sides, and that's good as well. Let's try the front one more time. Yeah, that's about it. Next we have some rotation up here at the thigh. There is that full bend at the knee. Not great, but not awful. And this can also hyperextend to the front, just like the elbow. Last up then is the ankle, and there it is all the way down, all the way up, so yeah, there's not a lot going on there. And there is the pivot side to side, and there's not a whole lot there. And also it just seems to float back to where it was originally. You move it all the way in, and it kind of moves back. But the one thing that this can do is rotate around. So that is it for my review of the high-grade Super Fumina. Definitely a very interesting high-grade kit to say the least. You can really see that Bandai had a lot of growing pains with this kit, but that does make sense as this is kind of their first time doing something like this. Possibly gonna be their last too. Limited detail, poor color accuracy, not the greatest articulation, a fair amount of loose parts, and it looks extremely awkward no matter what pose you put it in. Not to mention that terrible deadpan face. But even with all of that, it's still an extremely fun high grade. It is completely unlike anything else Gunpla has to offer, and I really can't wait to see the customizations some people do with this. So if you're looking for fun, this one's for you. If you're looking for a good, solid model kit that looks good out of the box, then stay the hell away. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time.